Stopping by to share another video lesson with you. And the reason why I'm wearing this mask is because, well, now we all have to wear masks. And if for any reason you guys do not have a mask at home, I know that it's actually pretty easy to make some with a napkin. So you just take a napkin, and what you do is you fold it into little parts until you create a big strip like this. Once you have the strip itself, you go ahead and attach a rubber band on the end to it, and then you staple it. So if for any reason you don't have a way to go and get masks, or you don't have a mask at home, if you get rubber bands and if you get napkins and a stapler, you could actually, or some glue, you could actually take care of that. But that aside, today we're actually working on another FRQ. I really do hope that everybody had a great weekend and that you guys got to spend more time with your families. I know that we're under quarantine, so it's very hard to get out and we're all at home, right? But still, nonetheless, you should always try to make it the best time and try to put your best self forth so that way you can have a great day. Today, we'll take care of this one prompt. I do want to jump right into it because I do want to keep the video under 10 minutes or around 10 minutes, so that way you guys have an ease to watching this video and then you can go about working on the assignment. So today we actually review again unit number 2, the biological basis of behavior. This is our FRQ practice number 2 on that chapter. So once we finish this FRQ practice, we will move on to unit 3 and we'll practice an FRQ from unit 3, and we'll take it that way until we'll finish all 7 units. More towards the end or closer to the AP exam, I will try to see if we can host like perhaps a game, like a Kahoot game, where we can all be connected at once, and maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but I think we should give it a go, and we'll try to come up with other ways and means to review so that you guys can maximize your capability for this test. So this prompt right here is going to focus on neurotransmitters, the nervous system divisions, and brain structures. So as usual, we have 25 minutes to write this, right? If you wanted to be successful, you would be timing yourself. Why do I want to time myself as a student? Well, you want to time yourself because, remember, your test will be timed. So if you're writing these FRQs in over an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's taking you that long to write this one prompt, then it's going to be a little difficult for you to actually get through the FRQ prompt on test day. Remember, test day will only consist of 45 minutes, and you will have to work on the FRQ within those 45 minutes. So kind of think about that and have that in mind, so that way you guys are working faster. And that's the only reason why I'm giving you so many FRQ practices, so that way you get more used to it and you get knowledgeable about how to go about answering, and it's just a lot easier. So the question here says, Joseph is running his first marathon. In addition to Joseph, thousands of others are running the event, and there is a large crowd along most of the marathon route. Joseph has prepared for the day by completing many training runs, but his heart is racing at the start of the competition. As he moves through the course, he finds himself stopping at many of the water stations to satisfy his thirst. By mile 15, his legs start to burn, but he continues and ultimately completes the race. Explain how the following psychological concepts might impact Joseph before, during, and at the competition of the marathon, or completion of the marathon. Sorry, it's very tiny. So we want to focus first off on part A. They wanted to talk about or explain how the following neurotransmitters may impact Joseph's performance in the race. So we need to talk about how serotonin and endorphins relate to Joseph's performance in the race. Part B, explain how the following areas of the brain help Joseph's performance in the race. So how do these areas help Joseph? The cerebellum, the motor cortex, and the hypothalamus. Now Part C, explain the following parts of the nervous system and how they could impact Joseph before, during, or after the race. The somatic nervous system, as well as the sympathetic nervous system. Awesome. So let's just dive right into it. I have the example right here. So part A, we said we wanted to explain how serotonin and endorphins actually related to this. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Sorry about the messages coming in, but so this is a way to answer it. Because Joseph has been looking forward to running this marathon for quite some time, he is excited and happy when the day arrives. Because the neurotransmitter serotonin is a chemical in the nervous system related to sleep, appetite, and mood. High levels of this neurotransmitter may be contributing to his upbeat and happy mood, preparing him for the race day ahead. Remember, serotonin is that feel good neurotransmitter. Typically, when we eat our favorite foods, we actually feel this type of neurotransmitter. It's responsible for the feeling we get after eating pizza or Whataburger or Wingstop, whatever it is that you really enjoy. So, serotonin, remember, it facilitates and it's associated with sleep, appetite, mood, and high levels of this neurotransmitter contribute to happy moods. So that is the reason why Joseph has been looking forward for the marathon. And when he's at the marathon, he just feels this rush of happiness. He's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm finally here." It's almost like if you have a trip to Disney World and you're super excited about it, and you finally get there and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I'm finally here." That's exactly what we need to explain. So serotonin. Now endorphins are also neurotransmitters which are often released during stressful events. Joseph may be producing high levels of endorphins at his legs, and his legs start to shake or get tired and sore during the race. Without the endorphins, he may find the pain intolerable and be unable to go and complete the race. So remember, endorphins are our natural painkillers that the body produces. So oftentimes when we're engaged in marathons and going on for such long distances, 15 miles or so, we typically have to release endorphins so that way we can fight that battle and we don't feel that pain. And after the fact, once you're done with the marathon, it's actually a lot more painful, and oftentimes people become very, very, very sore. But endorphins do get rid of the pain temporarily. So they are natural painkillers. Don't forget that. So that was part A. We explained and we also defined how serotonin and endorphins related to the race, or in this situation, uh, to Joseph's running of his first marathon. Now, when we talk about part B, right? Part B wants us to explain how the cerebellum, the motor cortex, and the hypothalamus help Joseph's performance in the race. Let's dive into it. The cerebellum, you already know that it's about movement and coordination. So the cerebellum is found in the hindbrain and is responsible for balance, coordination, and fine motor movements. Because Joseph must run the race while maintaining his balance and weaving through the runners, he may use his cerebellum to help him shift his position slightly to get around them or to modify his running form. However, you want to explain it. All you have to do is define what the cerebellum is and explain how it relates to the performance. So, the motor cortex. The motor cortex is found at the forebrain, and more specifically in the rear of the frontal lobe. The motor cortex is responsible for outgoing voluntary motor information, which is carried to muscles, which helps to move the body. Because Joseph must use many of his muscles in his body as he runs during the marathon, his motor cortex will be sending messages to his legs to move or to avoid a pothole or another runner. So the motor cortex is responsible for actually facilitating movement. It works together with the cerebellum to produce those jukes and to produce those movements and to produce that movement that we need in a marathon. So when we jump onto trying to explain the hypothalamus is found at the limbic system of the forebrain, or of the brain, I'm sorry, and is responsible for maintaining internal body systems related to hunger, thirst, and body temperature. Joseph's hypothalamus will allow Joseph to gauge when he is thirsty and should stop at a water station. His hypothalamus will also gauge his internal body temperature, indicating if he is getting overheated during the race and should take off his windbreaker. Remember, guys, when we talk about the hypothalamus, that is kind of like the thermostat that our body has. When we are missing something, it tells us to take action. So then we drink water or we eat some food. In this case, the Joseph was actually stopping to get some water because he was becoming thirsty throughout the marathon. Perfect. So now that we've explained how the cerebellum, the motor cortex, and the hypothalamus helped Joseph's performance, we just need to conclude it with the last part here, part C. We need to explain how the following parts of the nervous system could impact Joseph. So the somatic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. So a way that I would do this would be like this. So the peripheral nervous system connects the central nervous system, brain, and spinal cord to the muscles and glands in the body. This portion of the nervous system contains the autonomic system, which controls automatic functions such as heart rate and digestion, and the somatic nervous system, which controls voluntary movement. When the gun goes off to start the race, Joseph must send a message through his peripheral nervous system, which will be relayed from the motor cortex to move his legs and start running. So I know it sounds like there's a lot going on, but think about it. The peripheral nervous system are just all of the bundles of nerves that are all over the body that are not related to the brain or the brainstem or spinal cord. So when we talk about the peripheral nervous system being associated with the control of the rest of the nervous system, what we're saying is that when we're running, as we're running, we're using peripheral and the as well as the central nervous system. So don't think about it too much, guys. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. But do try to answer this question. It is due tomorrow, preferably by 11:59 p.m. If you guys do turn it in, not tomorrow, I'm sorry, but on the 8th, if you guys turn it in later than the 8th, then it's going to be late. I did give you an extension. I gave you more time because there's a lot of assignments that you're working on, and I don't want you guys to feel down or to feel like unmotivated to work on your assignments, especially because I know you can do really well on this FRQ test in AP Psychology, guys, and I just want to push you to do your best. So, without further ado, have a great day. It was great stopping by and showing you another video lesson here. I cannot wait to hear from you. If you want to jump on a call or have any questions, please let me know. Bye-bye.